Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm your host, George Rideout, and with me as always working on the soundboard is the board broad Lynn. And today we have a guest all the way from Hawaii. Now, forgive me if I get the name a little bit wrong here, but I'll try it. Jeri Wahinehookai. Is that close?
That's very close, George. Good morning.
Good morning. You're a PhD candidate in parapsychic science.
Yes.
And you've published an electronic book titled Ghost Night Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting title. How did you come up with Ghost Night Wednesday?
Many years ago when we began to do spirit release work, clearings, if you will, Wednesday night was Ghost Night, it was referred to as. And those who felt they needed some clearing work would come. Anywhere between 2, we limited it to 6. And of course, the work expanded a little too much, and we had to do it more than just on Wednesday. But that's why it started that way.
Right, okay. Now, the book is information that you say is important about the world of the dead and how they can influence every aspect of people's lives in either a subtle or intense, helpful or harmful manner.
Yes.
So not every dead person is a good dead person.
No.
I hope that we get a laugh.
Very similar to the living.
Yeah.
Those in body. All are living, by the way. But yes, similar to folks who do have bodies.
Yeah. We talked about a little bit about this off air, but what exactly is parapsychic science?
Parapsychic science is anything beyond, similar to metaphysics. It's beyond physics. It just goes over the edge into other realms. And it covers many different issues, which is why I chose it, because it covers a variety of subjects that I do, including occult sciences, religion, nutrition as it applies to our health, and many other subjects. So
it's a very holistic format.
Yes.
Now, this is being taught at the American Institute of Holistic Theology?
Yes, uh-huh.
And what exactly is the...
It was difficult to find a school that covered the subjects that I deal with, just for starters.
Uh-huh. So what exactly is the American Institute of Holistic Theology?
It is a school with many different subjects having to do with natural healing, having to do with paranatural, in other words, beyond natural. The most common terminology would be metaphysics in general, and spiritual, the general non-denominational type.
Right. Is this based in Hawaii, or is it in another state?
No, it's actually on the mainland.
Okay.
And they make their courses available and their counselors through phone and fax and computers and, email, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And they mail the materials to you, and you choose whatever program you wish. And I recommend them. They're very cooperative with the student and their particular needs.
I would assume that the instructors would be very knowledgeable spiritual peoples.
Yes, each are experts in their own field.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a newsletter which comes out and gives interesting information in general to the students and alumni.
And how long have you been related with the Institute?
About 6 years, give or take, maybe 7, I'm not sure exactly when I started.
Hi, Jeri, it's Lynn, the board broad.
Yes.
I have a question, if you don't mind. How did you get involved in this? Do you feel that you were born to do it?
I was born sensitive,
mm-hmm.
if you will. But doing the specific work of spirit release, I guess you could boil the word down to exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
Without the scary aspects that can come along with that. The stigma, it is not something one chooses as a career from a list of careers. I was basically led into the work by spirit, if you will, guides.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing that since basically you were born.
Yes, one thing led to another.
That was one of the questions I asked myself as I drove out here to the station this morning. Was that, is everybody born with these abilities, or are these abilities that can be taught?
Both, actually. Born with the ability to a greater or lesser degree, yes, very much so. And can be taught, certainly. There are a lot of people who now, in particular, are into remote viewing, which is similar. Many sensitives, or psychics, if you will, choose that to give them more focus and discipline of doing the work specifically. Others just read and practice and keep it for personal usage.
Do you come from a family background that this gift has traveled through your ancestors?
Yes.
I find that a lot of medicine peoples that I come in contact with, it seems to, I won't say always, but a vast majority of them have had somebody in their family that's been involved with the spiritual side of things more often than not.
Was it from your mother's side or your father's side?
My father's side.
Okay.
Actually, but it's technically from both. But the heavier history would be on my mother or my father's side. Irish, Celtic, if you will. Goes way back.
Right. Now you have a PhD in parapsychic science. Okay, and you got it at the Institute?
Yes.
Yeah, I would take it then that they have courses.
Yes, they do.
And what are some of the, is there even any requirements for the courses?
For mine, I was already a minister, licensed in the state of Hawaii for quite a long time. They suggest ultimately taking that, so that is one avenue I didn't have to go through. Not a prerequisite, but it is recommended for certain programs that you might want.
So you started with a theology-based
Yes.
Background? Okay.
Yes, there are sensitives of every variety. I choose to be on a spiritual path, doing the work, and many do not. Yeah,
I guess that's either one is or isn't. It's not something that we used to laugh about it in a kind of a humorous way, that we used to call them the weekend warriors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people just really don't understand how tough and how involved living a spiritual life really, truly is.
Yes, it is not a Sunday kind of thing. It's a 24/7.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be any kind of practitioner, it is definitely a way of life.
Yeah.
Or let's say that's the ideal.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're going to do it completely, because it will affect your entire life and everything around you.
Yeah, it touches everything.
Yeah.
So what's it like on the mainland? Is it? I know. Yeah, I'm assuming that when you came over here, you got a kind of a feel of the. Because I'm always interested in the how would you say it? The territorial spiritualness of a place. Is there a difference between the mainland and the islands?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Is it better or worse?
Well, it's better for someone who does my kind of work, whether it's natural healing or spiritualism, because it's an accepted part of this culture.
Yes.
For many people.
Yeah.
And on the mainland, it's much less.
Yeah.
Although in some areas, people are sensitives or natural healing is more accepted.
Yeah, in certain communities.
It's certainly far more comfortable here.
Yeah.
And here is where I was basically opened and pushed along. In my that whole part of my path was intensified by coming here, probably for that reason.
That's where home is.
Yes. It's where home was before as well. So it was certainly comfortable.
With some of the ways and practices that you use, are they from the indigenous peoples of Hawaii?
Yeah. Many years ago, several people came to me and said, "We want to start a group." I was the oldest. And would you help us? Would you, share? I had a large library, lending library. I guess I'd had certain experience and time in, if you will. And I said yes, under one stipulation, and then that's everything we study and research be founded in a base of Huna, which is the Hawaiian psychos spiritual philosophy, if you will. It's not a religion. It is not something you do on Sunday. It is something, it was a way of life for the ancient Hawaiian people.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the term kahuna comes from, right?
Yes.
That would be...
Kahuna is simply a master of something.
Ah, okay.
If you were, let's say, a star reader,
mm-hmm.
navigator,
mm-hmm.
you were a kahuna of that. If you were an herbal healer, you were kahuna. Lapa'au, for example. La'au. Different name for each category. And as I studied for many years all through my life, I was curious, starting early on, with different religions of the world. I was raised predominantly in a Christian church, baptized, total submerging as a child. And as I started to do more and more and more study, especially looking into Huna, I found that it is the same as universal principle, divine law, universal law, as it's referred to. And it just sort of started from there. And then I got nudged in that direction. Early on, I would say to my spirit guides and to others of us who were studying, some who were also mainlanders living here, oh no, I'm not going to teach this. I'm a Haole. How can a Haole teach Huna? And guidance just continued to say it's not an issue. It will be a no thing. So little by little, through the years and through time, I was even asked by local people to share the research and information that we had gathered and experienced.
That's an honor.
Yes, it was.
And you've been doing this now for 20-some years.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the things that you would teach? Here's even a slightly different question. If I was some guy named George who came up to you and said, I'm really interested in learning from some of the ancestral teachings of the Hawaiian Islands, would you teach me?
Yes, teach what I know, but also recommend various people here, locals predominantly, and some not. There are some at the college who are teaching the language, and because you'll find it in a variety of places. There are some books, there are some people, and different aspects of the whole to learn from. But certainly share and teach what I know.
Right.
Right. If someone says, how can I expand my spiritual awareness and do it through a Hawaiian, let's say, culturally Hawaiian flavor, the very first thing to understand is if the ancient ones believe there is a triune aspect to all things. That's the very basis of life. And so that goes with people directly to the consciousness level. The lower self, the middle self, the higher self. Another term for it, the subconscious, the conscious, and the higher conscious. In the Hawaiian term, it's kino aka. That's your inner child self, inner child aspect. The middle self is the conscious self, and that's the kaho aka. That's the one that you and I are speaking to each other in. Here and now, we're awake. It's also the one that thinks it knows everything.
Of course.
And basically, it's full of pretty much other people's programs. And then there is the higher self, which is the makua, te ahu. And that is the parent or grandparent guardian self. Sees farther, knows more. And it is a matter of, first of all, discovering those within the self and then merging them into unity, bringing them together, finding your center with them, and working from any and all of those levels at a given time, depending on the situation. So what channeled through me very, very early on was a process called Rainbow Journey. That was the reconnection to the inner child aspect through a process of moving through seeing, inhaling, and breathing colors, the colors of the rainbow. And it ends up being a light hypnosis procedure. It doesn't look like it, but you can tell by how it feels. So my guides brought that through one night in a workshop. Sometimes I am surprised when the tools come. Sometimes they're on a need-to-know basis. Oh, I need this right now. And there it is. And I go, whoa, that's cool. So yes, blessed with a very large spiritual guidance team, if you will.
Getting to know one's ancestors, as it were.